an accidental project, which was just sort of like a, "Hey, what do you think?" to now being in about 29 countries is blowing our minds. Yeah, as of yesterday, right? So, I'm kind of flabbergasted in many ways that there are so many people out there doing harm, but I'm also one to be that sort of, people talk about half glass full, glass half empty, and I'm the glass doesn't exist kind of person. You just do what you can and you counteract it with the best way you can, and this is it, right? Knowledge is power that no one can take away from you, and if we're able to equip you with that, and that's what Ruth really does, then we've done our job, right? Because we've trained you to be more vigilant about yourself and your family online.
That was Meg Shaw, founder of the Paracel Cooperative and creators of the Digital Guardian app, Ruth. Walking through TechCrunch Disrupt 2024, I wasn't expecting to confront one of tech's darkest secrets. But at the Paracel Cooperative's booth, founder Meg Shaw and COO Sandy Scalaney opened my eyes to an unsettling reality. Our everyday devices are becoming weapons of abuse in ways most of us never notice. Digital abuse is evolving faster than our ability to spot it. Listen to Sandy show us what tech abuse is really about.
I really want to say, what is the problem? I want people to really understand what it is we're looking at here. Ruth is one of our products. Ruth is our generative AI digital guardian, our chatbot that helps people identify and navigate situations of domestic violence, human trafficking, and tech facilitated abuse. And I think over the years, we've had developed an understanding of what domestic violence is, what human trafficking is, even. We've done a fairly good job of educating people around those things. But the field of tech enabled abuse, tech facilitated abuse, has grown exponentially. Okay, we're talking about sextortion, deep fakes, revenge porn, even, every organizations that are working with survivors of domestic violence report that 98% of the survivors they're working with are experiencing technology related abuse.
Technology abuse. This is where Ruth comes in. The app, which has been soon launching, aims to be a knowledge hub for anyone facing tech enabled abuse. Students dealing with online harassment, parents worried about digital safety, survivors trying to secure their devices and technology. What Ruth aims to do is give specific, actionable guidance without overwhelming users. What sets it apart isn't just the privacy first approach in early testing, it's how it connects users to verified resources and support networks while demystifying the tech threats they don't really understand. As Megs and Sandy explain, many people don't realize they're experiencing tech abuse until someone helps them recognize the signs. Sort of like what happened to Megs when she began Parasol Cooperative.
I mean, it's kind of how this all started, right? Like I was trying to keep up with my son playing video games, and I could not figure out what he was doing on there, and I was worried about the whole sextortion thing, so I went on to OpenAI and I asked a question about how do you talk about sextortion with your teenager, and it basically said, "Sorry, it's out of policy." And the technologist in me didn't accept that answer, and I was like, "Oh hell no, this is not this can't be." And I went on to, at the time, I think Party Rock, which was one of the AWS's products that was out there. I started playing around with it, and it's since been rebranded to something else. But we found another alternative to try, and surprisingly, it was giving me back some really robust responses when when I prompted it the right way. And so I sent it over to Sandy, and I have this thing every time I get on a call, and I say that. So I did a thing, and everybody on the call at work just goes, "Oh no, here we go." And this is how Ruth was introduced to the team. So I was like, I did a thing. Can you guys maybe try it out and see what you think? And so we got it out to a whole lot of our research colleagues that we were working with already. We got it out to individuals that are in the field doing the work, to survivors that have actually been working with the organization kind of as research participants, and found that we can make this really robust tool, right? And I think in one of your old podcasts as well, you had mentioned it's sort of like this tailored LLM that you can have that's specific to the task at hand, right? And I think in this instance, Ruth really shined. As we started to ask more and more questions, we were trying to figure out how do we engage with it differently. And the use cases just, we didn't even envision some of these use cases, and they started happening, and it was beautifully handled as part of the chat. So, an accidental project, which was just sort of like a, hey, what do you think? To now being in about 29 countries is blowing our minds. Yeah, as of yesterday, right? So, I'm kind of flabbergasted in many ways that there are so many people out there doing harm. But I'm also one to be that sort of people talk about half glass full, glass half empty, and I'm the glass doesn't exist kind of person. So, um, you just do what you can, and you counteract it with the best way you can, and this is it, right? Knowledge is power that no one can take away from you, and if we're able to equip you with that, and that's what Ruth really does, then we've done our job, right? Because we've trained you to be more vigilant about yourself and your family online.